Hello. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to set up and use our data analysis tool. Before I do that, I'm going to point you to our school improvement plan, which states we're working to make sure all of our students meet or exceed expected growth as measured by EVOS in math, reading, and 8th grade science. In addition, all of our subgroups will meet their long-term goals, and the overall grade level proficiency will increase to 60% based on the North Carolina EOGs. What you'll see highlighted in the middle of the page here is from our plan. This is one of our action steps, which states PLTs will analyze data of a major common assessment at least once quarterly to monitor mastery of selected standards and proficiency levels of different subgroups at our school. In order to help you with this, I have placed a master copy of a tool in your subject area PLT folder by your PLT. When you go there, you may open it up and that is yours to use and manipulate as you'd like. It will look something like this. I have a sample pulled up and you will see this is how it will look before you enter in all of your information. I will also show you a sample that is complete with everything filled out. But just to start, if you look on tab 1, it should say student data down here at the bottom. And all you'll need to do is in this box, just put the title of the assessment to analyze. It could be something like Unit 2 Mid-Unit Assessment. And beside PLT, you would put your PLT. You could write 6th grade social studies or 8th grade science, something like that. And here's the part that will take us a few minutes to set up, but after it's done once, you can simply make a copy of your Google Sheet and keep all of your student data. You are going to want to enter in your student data, and I mean student name, and you may be able to copy some of this over from PowerSchool to save a little time, but at a minimum, if you just wanted to write your name of each student, once you do that, ethnicity, we'll just put W for white, for gender, and the teacher. Then you will put in the student's score for that assessment. And as you can see, I have chosen to make the cutoff for proficiency, 70%. We can edit this as needed, but if I put in a score that is above 70%, you will see that this column will highlight in green, meaning that it's a formula that says, yes, this student scored higher than a 70. If it is something lower than that, it will contain red, and the red is the default. So you will put all of this in, and once it's all entered, it will look something like this. I'm using sample data here with made-up names and ethnicity, gender, teacher, but you'll see all of the names, all of the scores, ethnicity, gender, and teacher. We're using 8th grade science as a model here, and you will see for each one of these items, if it is above, if the score is above a 70, you will see green in the column in column C. If it is below, you will see red or a light pink. So what does this mean for you? Once you've entered in all of your data, you will have a pivot table, which is tab 2, that will populate. I'm going to use my sample data because it will give you more of a robust look at what this should look like once all of your data is entered. So all of your information will populate into tab 2. All you need to do is to click over on your data pivot table once everything is entered, and you should get something that looks like this. Now, looking at this pivot table, it breaks down the number of students who are proficient by ethnicity here and teacher here. For example, in looking at the success of our black students, we can see that the average success for black students in Miss Bigelow's class is 85.71% or 86%. For Mr. Kubrick's class, the average is 20%, and for Mr. Scorsese, the average is 40%. If you look down at the bottom, the highlighted total, for all students in the PLT who are African American, the overall percentage that were marked as proficient is 53%. That could be helpful. You will see the same thing for other ethnicities, Hispanic, white. I'm using those three as the example for our school because this is what makes up most of our population here at East Millbrook. From here, once this is entered, PLTs can examine their data. In this example, regarding our African American students here, conversations could take place regarding what Miss Bigelow is actually doing in her classroom regarding the instruction, the curriculum, and learning environment to achieve her results. If I was in her PLT and I saw that much of a difference based on the things that we can control or influence at least, I'd like to have conversations about what her classroom looks like, how did she set up those students for success, etc. Once again, below you can see the same thing with your Hispanic students, with our white students. When your PLT starts to analyze data, this type of tool can help you structure the conversation. Using this sample data, you can see that one of the subgroups has performed better than the others, as indicated right here, pointing out that there is an opportunity gap that we need to address, which is the purpose of our school improvement plan. This next part I'm going to tell you is optional, so do not feel like you have to do this part or I can help you with it. But if you wish to have your grand total, which averages all of your subgroups together, show the overall percentage proficient, this is not correct for this. You are going to need to edit the range on that the pivot table pulls from. So to do this, you must go to the pivot table editor on the right side of the page, and I'm just going to click here and it'll pop up. Then I need to know how far down my student data to pull data from. And as I go back over to the first tab, I have entered data up into row 52, column F. So that's F52. Coming back here, we're just going to go back to the pivot table editor. And we're going to make sure this changes from F350 to F52. Once that happens, you will see the average at the bottom adjust. So you can see that overall, all of our students are at about 56% in this sample. So the last tab I want to show you is a list of guiding questions. These can be used by your PLT to analyze data and reflect on the teaching process. At the very top, these first 4 questions are ones you may use when analyzing the questions and answers from a chosen assessment, looking at the actual questions. Further down, which is what I'd like to focus on right now, are the questions that start off under the tab or under the header analyzing data from the pivot table, as well as reflections on what you may want to keep or modify. There's a space for notes. Please feel free to type into this or to use the minutes from your PLT minutes document. And as you look over here, you will talk in your PLTs with questions like, what trends or patterns do you notice from the pivot table? Which students are demonstrating success? Which students are not demonstrating success? And then maybe more importantly, the reflections at the bottom, thinking in terms of the instruction, the curriculum, and the learning environment. What do you want to do regarding instruction because it worked? What might you want to modify? And moving forward for the next unit, what might your students struggle with the most? Our goal is for us to start to use a tool to help us modify our instruction based on the needs of our students. I would like for each core PLT to analyze their data from one major assessment prior to the end of the 3rd quarter. Right now that is marked as March 26th, so that gives us plenty of time. I want to share out at our SIP Leadership Quarterly Review in April regarding this tool and the work being done by our PLTs. A note as you start to use the tool, Please know this is a learning process, and we are all working together to put some systems in place to assist you in analyzing your data to inform instruction. I imagine this tool may evolve several times as we look to get a tool that works the best for you. Please reach out as questions arrive, and if you'd like another person like myself to join your PLT as you analyze data, I will be glad to be there. Thank you for listening, and thank you again for all the work you do for our students every single day.